Want to know what successful people are doing with their money to create wealth and use it consciously for the greater good? Welcome back to Wealth Unplugged, the weekly podcast that gives you diamond tips on creating conscious wealth from changemakers, world shakers, and wealth creators. Now here's your host, Barbara Turley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Wealth Unplugged for another week of amazing insights into wealth from the remarkable people that I've been interviewing on my Feminine Wealth TV show. So look, before I dive into today's show, I just wanted to share with you a little learning I had this week after interviewing Heather Porter on the show last week. See, a few days ago, I sat down to write a blog post after, to be honest, really procrastinating about it for ages. And again, I sat down and I hit writer's block. So I wandered off into daydream land, as you do when you're desperately trying to avoid a difficult task. And one of my key takeouts from Heather's interview actually popped into my head. Heather had said, "Just be you. Authenticity, it's the new black." It was just brilliant. It was the perfect thought to pop into my head at the perfect time. So I came back to my blog post and just decided, just get over myself, write like I would speak, and be completely raw and completely real. It was super. I found my voice, I wrote from my heart, and even if I do say so myself, I think the blog post turned out pretty good. So if you want to check it out, it's actually on my blog at energizewealth.com, and it's called "Have You Found Your Hidden Money Today?" So the knock-on effect really has been a sense of pride that what I'm doing here is really useful and it's really important. So it's given me a new sense of vigor to give you some really great key takeouts again today. So this week, I had the pleasure of interviewing Debbie Spellman of debbiespellman.com on the hot topic of self-worth and net worth and how they impact each other. You know what? Debbie is a real change maker in the world with a big mission and even bigger heart. She's a therapist with a difference. She specializes in mind detox therapy, and basically she helps women to identify and remove the masks that are keeping them really stuck in lives that they just don't want. Then she guides them through a process of discovering their true selves, unlocking their inner power. I just love her work. In fact, I find it so amazing, her work, that I've invited her to be an expert contributor on my Get Savvy Academy training program, which is launching soon. So if you want to hear more about that, make sure that you're signed up for my newsletter over on energizewealth.com, and I'll be communicating about that very soon. So, diving right into my key takeouts from my chat with Debbie, the first one that really struck me got right to the heart of the self-worth versus net worth debate. Debbie said that how much you value yourself really dictates how much you value what you put out to the world, your inherent value. And of course, then that in turn has everything to do with how much money you'll ask for in return for that value. So if you have a lack of self-worth, then we place a low value on our gifts, our talents, our knowledge, and even our businesses. The fear of being rejected then causes us to be struck by indecision and procrastination, which of course leads to lack of success and total failure in lots of circumstances. It's a real self-sabotaging behavior. When it comes to making money and building wealth as well, this is really not the greatest place to come from, because you'll continually play down your worth, charge less, constantly discount your work, or worse, just keep giving everything away for free with no strategy behind it. Now, this is the curse of the perfectionist. And I have to say, I never thought I had a lack of self-worth until I really started to examine it from these different angles and chatting with Debbie. Throughout my career as an equity trader, I was surrounded by mostly male colleagues who, to be honest, they were just masters at self-promotion. They had no problem telling you how brilliant they were, especially when it came to bonus paying time. Me, on the other hand, often found myself apologizing for mistakes I had made, things that maybe hadn't gone quite right, and I found it harder to be so blatantly egotistical. I know full well now that I definitely didn't make the money I could have or should have in that role, and it was squarely down to my own self-worth issues. I'm the classic perfectionist character, and so end up being my worst critic. It's certainly not valuing yourself, and after getting to know Debbie and her work, it's something I'm really looking to become more and more aware of and to really change in my own life. So look, today I would really urge you to do the same and really have a think about how this key takeout might be playing out in your life and of course in your wealth. So moving on to my next key takeout, which I guess is a follow-on point from my first one, in that this low sense of self also affects how we feel about ourselves. It can make us feel sad or ashamed or even angry and resentful. These kinds of emotions, they're really heavy, low vibrating emotions, and they energetically push clients and potential business partners away. So this low vibrational frequency makes you really unattractive to do business with. It shows up in your voice, in your marketing, how you carry yourself, how you conduct business, and in the end makes you less successful and of course, less wealthy. So this all got me thinking about how money is such a symbol of success and importance in our society today. I guess those that make lots of it, it's kind of like proof that they are somehow more valuable than those that don't. So everyone ends up chasing more money so that then they can feel more valuable and show everyone else that they're more valuable. But the paradox is that the value comes from inside yourself. Cultivate that first and a strong sense of self, then value what you bring to the world, and you'll find that the world will start paying you properly for that worth. So my final key takeout was a really important one, and it's simply that doing the inner work on yourself leads to massive personal and business growth on the outside. This means big wealth growth too, so it's so well worth doing the work. Look, you should check out the whole interview over on my website, energizewealth.com, and be sure to let me know what you think of it. I'm always delighted to hear how the shows impact so many different people in different ways. Okay, so that's a wrap for this week. I hope you got some diamond tips from the show that you can start implementing in your own life straight away to get your own wealth moving. Remember also, tune in next week when I'm going to be giving you the rundown on my chat on wealth and wellness with Fiona Cosgrove of Wellness Coaching Australia. Okay, have a great week and see you then.
Thanks for tuning in. Come and join us on energizewealth.com to continue the conversation. Get your free video training, 7 Steps to Energized Wealth, and watch the video interviews that were the inspiration behind this episode.